Hi everyone, it's Amariah. A lot of you guys probably don't know, but I was in the hospital on Thursday. So this is kind of my explanation, what's going on, and my diagnosis. And yeah, just kind of bored right now. I mean, nobody's home, so figured I might as well let y'all know what's going on. So when we moved here 3 months ago, I was pretty much okay, not the greatest diet, but I was fine. And then about 2 months ago, I started to get really sick. And it was like abdominal pain. I had passed out a couple times. I was really tired all the time. And I was getting headaches every once in a while. And I was hoping it was just a stomach bug, but it wasn't. So it got really bad on Thursday night. And it kind of got to the point where I needed to go to the hospital. It's kind of gross, but there was blood coming out of me. I had internal bleeding, and the abdominal pain had come back more severe than it originally was. So my mom drove me down to the hospital, and they didn't know immediately what was wrong, but they suspected that it was something really serious because of the internal bleeding and because my hemoglobin counts in my blood were so low. They immediately drew blood, tested it, and my hemoglobin was at, I think, a 7.8, and that's really low because you're supposed to be at about a 15 for a healthy person. So I was really dehydrated, really low on blood. I was severely anemic. They kept me overnight and put me on a double bag of saline. They had the thing pumping at 1,000 milliliters per hour, which is almost 10 times the normal IV drip. So that was a little painful on my arm, but it's okay now. And so in the morning, they drew more blood for tests, sent a few out, and then they scheduled me for a colonoscopy in the afternoon. About 4 o'clock, they took me down for the colonoscopy, gave me the anesthesia, and I was done by 5, but I didn't really wake up fully. I was a little loopy afterwards until about 4:45, 5-ish. No, wait, about 5:30. So about 15-20 minutes later, my GI doctor came in and with the results from the colonoscopy, and I was diagnosed with ileocolic Crohn's disease, which is basically a genetic autoimmune disorder where my white blood cells are attacking my large intestine and a small portion of my small intestine and creating ulcers and internal bleeding all along it. And it's not like it affects the entire thing. There are patches of more severe ulcers, and then there are patches of healthy colon, so it's not entirely affected, and it's not that easy to treat. They immediately put me on a heavy steroid in my IV to bring down the inflammation and try to get the internal bleeding to stop, which it has, thankfully. And I'm still on that now. It's very helpful during the day. I take 1 dose in the mornings to just keep all the inflammation down, and 1 dose at night to make sure that I can sleep well without any pain. But by afternoon, I'm pretty much ready for that 2nd dose. The pain is still there. I'm still having problems. I guess I'm just kind of making this video because I don't want people asking a ton of questions, because people have already started asking questions. They ask me, why am I running to the bathroom all the time? Why is my face kind of puffy? Which it actually is. I was much thinner in the hospital. They ask me why can't I eat normal foods? So I'm going to address a few of those now. My face is puffy because of the steroid I'm on. It's called prednisone, and one of the side effects is what we call moon face, which is basically my face is going to become very round, very puffy, and look like the moon. Basically, that's why they call it that. And it's just a side effect. It's not serious or anything. It just means that I'm going to have a fat face for a while. Why am I running to the bathroom all the time? My colon doesn't really work properly anymore, so I'm going to need to use the restroom a little more frequently. And then, why can't I eat normal foods? Because of the ulcers and because of the bleeding, I can no longer eat certain things. I have a lot of restrictions on my diet now, and I have to be very careful what I'm eating. Some of the restrictions are no greasy foods. A lot of oil will really upset my stomach and then create acid in my colon, which will inflame the ulcers and cause more bleeding. Another restriction is I can't have whole grains or nuts because they could also irritate the ulcers, or they could become lodged in the side of my colon and create a separate ulcer or obstruction in the GI tract. what's some of the other restrictions? I can't have a lot of fiber because a high fiber diet will actually start to tear at the lining of my colon, and there's actually, if it gets severe enough, I would have to have it surgically fixed, which we don't want that. Those are just some of the restrictions, but I have basically been on mostly liquid and soft food diet. I haven't had any solid food since the diagnosis. I'm still working my way up to normal food at this point. I mean, like, I've been eating mashed potatoes and really overcooked pasta that's really soft, and Gatorade. That's basically what I've been on for the past 2 days. Kind of sucks. I'm really hungry, but I can't eat certain things, so I kind of just gotta go with what I can. I still have some abdominal pain, but it's not that severe. I take my second dose of prednisone for the day in about, I'm gonna say, an hour and a half, and I'll be fine. Just in case anyone's wondering. But yeah, I just kind of want to let y'all know what's going on, because, you know, if people start asking questions, it's really awkward for me to kind of answer questions about this because it's so new to me. I mean, I never thought I would get an IBD, which stands for inflammatory bowel disease. I had no idea I would get something like that. So, I mean, if you do have questions, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer them as best I can, but I'm still not as familiar with the disease as I should be. I'm going back to the doctors to go over a diet plan with a dietitian and nutrition planner, and talk to the GI team about what to do if I get a second flare-up after the prednisone is discontinued. But really, it is a lifelong disease, so now that I have it, it's not going away. It can go into remission, which is what we're trying to do with the prednisone and the other medication that I start in a few weeks. But basically, it could flare up at any time. So just, if I start to have abdominal pain, there's probably a reason. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know, because I'm alright. It's just something that has to be managed. And if you actually got through all 7.5 minutes of this, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye!